been on campus at all this summer, so I'm trying to iron out a few things before I get started. So just patient for just a second. Actually, let's okay, so I want to start, let me just go over this roster, make sure everyone who is thinking they're here is on their roll. All right, so just holler, say hi or whatever when I kill your name, and don't, if I massacre your name, don't be all upset. Just tell me how you want your name to be said. Henry Adams, Taylor Adams, Michelle.
RV.
How do you say that?
RV.
RV.
The A silent.
Maggie, Bobby, Bowman, Holly, Harvey, Elise, Carr, Carson, Harvey, Brianne, Corbridge. You're related to Lynn? No? Too bad. Great guy. Andrea, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I took racquetball from. I get asked that all the time actually. Everybody thinks I wanted to. But he was a good racquetball teacher.
It's very good. Andrea,
Number one.
Alyssa, Gardner, Lori Green, Heidi,
Heidenthaler.
Heidenthaler, Kyle Hamblin, Alex Howell, Sarah Jensen, Tara Johnson, Katie Kirk, Stacy Knight, Erica Larson, Jason McAfee, Diana Madsen, Corinne, Robin, Kami, Cody Mitchell, April Myers, Melissa, close,
Yeah, Marissa.
set, Ashley Ragland, William Ramos,
Oh, yeah.
Alicia Rumford, Buddy Sellers, Ebat Sharif,
He is silent.
Ebat, Trevor Shepard, Samuel Silver, and Catherine Trick. So, anyone I didn't call?
Sorry, I came late. Tara Johnson.
Johnson.
I just registered, so I don't know if it's just not on there.
Oh, this Martin or something?
Yeah,
What's your name?
it's Alyssa Bankhead.
did you have, what class did you have?
I've had your stress management one forever ago.
Anyone else? I think that's good. Okay. All right, so let's go over this syllabus really fast.
I'm good.
How does it sound?
Sounds great. Karaoke, kind of. We could do a little karaoke.
Okay, so let's go through this. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. I'll try to go through this pretty quickly. So this is Health 2400, My Body Wellness, 3-credit hour class. My contact information is all there. My office hours, let me just give you those right now. I never know for sure what those will be until we get cranking, but I think my office hours will be Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 until 2 or 2:30. You're late. And whenever else I happen to be in my office, my door's open whenever I am here, and I'm usually here a lot, somewhere in this building. But I'll make sure that those specific times I'll be there for sure. We'll be meeting from 10:30 to 11:20. We'll definitely not go longer than that ever, because there's another class coming in right after this. Naughty to go over time. The materials you'll need, the one book that you'll need to pick up is this one. It's down in the bookstore, I'm pretty sure. Well, the world is not a stressful place. And you'll be getting some other materials as we go through the class that you'll need to pick up. But the rest of it, as far as I know to this point, is all free. But that book you'll need to pick up, and there will be assignments that you'll do periodically through the semester. You won't need to bring that to class, but you will be diving into that book a little bit. Suggested materials. These are also good to have if you'd like. If you really, really are interested in what we're doing in here, and want to, really get a good grasp of the whole Hollow Wax, then those two books are the books that we use, or those two items are the ones we use in the stress management class. So if you have taken that one, you already have those, unless you gave them away or something. But later on, when we get into meditation, there might be people. Hi, who are you?
Diana,
Are you in our class?
what this is, life is not stressful, right?
Right.
Yep, sorry I'm late.
So, Diana, what? Okay, well. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, when we get into meditation. when we get into meditation, most of you will love all meditation, but some won't quite fit you. But during the semester, you will be doing things kind of on a regular basis, kind of healthy behaviors. One of those will involve some kind of deep relaxation. If it's not meditation, then you will want to choose one of these other relaxation exercises that are on the stress relief relaxation exercises CD or downloads now. I'll let you know about those later. Also, you'll need to be able to access the online web space, the WSU Online. Quite a few of the assignments that we'll do are inside. You just go into your portal and click to the class, and just like you've always done. We haven't converted this class over to Canvas yet, so we're still doing the old-fashioned way, but it's still the same information. And I'll explain how that goes, but you must be able to access that. Okay, questions are there? So, this course exposes you to the promotion of mind-body wellness, understanding of body, mind, spirit, protection. The purpose is to give you a thorough investigation of the theories, models, methods, and skills, that enhance a person's well-being on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. Why? It says, mind-body wellness begins with an understanding of how our thoughts affect our emotions and physiology. Gaining greater control of our thoughts through various principles, tools, and techniques will help us gain the upper hand on our emotional and physical state. The results of this are greater inner peace, tranquility, and joy, and better overall health and well-being. These commodities are infrequently found in our society based on the percentage of hospital admissions that have a stress component, which they say right now, 80% of those people who go to the hospital, for whatever reason, stress plays a part in it. That doesn't mean stress is the cause, but stress makes the situation worse for 80% of them, whether that's a dampened immune system or psychologically the person is going to see somebody for this or that emotional problem or whatever. So the rationale is we're trying to prevent in here long-term disabilities where stress is the primary. Stress plays a big part in making it worse. Objectives, you can read through those, some of the things that we'll do. Course meetings, it says, due to the nature of the material presented, class attendance is essential. The class will be conducted in a workshop format in which theoretical content will be combined with experiential learning. What that means is, some of the time we'll be talking like this. Some of the time we'll be doing stuff. I prefer the doing stuff part to the talking part. All students are expected to participate in all class activities, also please dress appropriately for various types of activities. What I mean there is, like for example, one of these days here soon, the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll spend a day or two doing yoga. It's just one of those good things that is part of what we do. And you know, if you're one of those people who are too cool, you ever met people who are too cool to do stuff? They just kind of and they kind of watch. Then go find another class. Find something else where you can be cool. Because in here, we're going to be participating, doing a lot of things. We'll rearrange the class a lot, or a few times. We'll go outside sometimes. We'll be in the gym sometimes. We're going to be doing a lot of things. And I will always let you know what's upcoming if you need to dress differently. So for example, on the day that we do yoga, you'll want to wear athletic clothes. You'll not want to wear jeans or something like that. And I'll always let you know so that you can kind of prepare appropriately for when we start playing with the things that we'll do. But get it in your head right away. This is not a class where you'll sit on the back row and just hang out. And if you're shy, like, then we'll deal with that. We'll help you with the shyness in a way that'll probably astound you. But this is a class where there's a lot of questions on that. Okay, class activities, and these are just some of the things that we'll be doing where points will be added or points will be involved. During class time, we'll involve ourselves in many different types of activities. Your participation will be essential. Many of these activities will have points attached to them. They'll be available only if you're in class to involve yourself in them. So for example, and I'll use the yoga one, not that I'm trying to be all yoga person today, but that just popped into my head. We'll do the yoga a couple days in class, and then you'll write about it. You'll write about your experience of, when we did it. If you're not here to do it and then get the assignment, then the points that you would have gotten won't be gotten for you. You can't do it at home on your own. So this is not a good class for you to try and do from a distance. You fail utterly if you try to do this from a distance. You got to show up. If a grade is important to you, and quite honestly, many people take this class not caring a lick about a grade. And I'll explain that a little bit in a minute, but if a grade's important to you, then showing up's a really good idea. So some of the things we'll do, Mind Body Wellness contract, and I'll explain that really soon. Reaction papers, as we go through, like I mentioned, you'll get to do kind of a, here's how I felt, here's what I think about this, here's my learning on the subject, blah, blah. Stress management lab visits, which is renamed Stress Relief Center. Yeah. You'll have to visit there a couple times. It's just across the hall, and it's kind of our little sanctuary or feel good. So 2 visits to there, and I'll explain to you later how you'll respond to those inside WebCT. You'll also do a book review. I'm not going to say too much about that right now. Suffice it to say that you'll do one and you'll enjoy it. I'm pretty sure.
So is this class really similar to your stress management class? But just stress management, it sounds a lot the same.
You mean like as far as what? Like the structure?
Yeah.
The structure is the contents significantly different.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
I just remember we had to do a book review and stuff too.
Yeah, you get to do another.
Well, that's okay.
Same thing.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, the feel is the same. What we play with in here is better. And I'll explain that.
Okay.
Good question. Okay, so I'll explain the book review later on. And then at the end of the semester, you'll do a final paper that tells about your experience with class, and we don't need to put our attention on that until the last 2 weeks of class, and you'll just sit down at your computer and do this. So that's kind of how your points will break down under the evaluation part, the contract, the book review. We'll be reading the amazing book called As a Man Thinketh. It's a tiny little book that's about the most unbelievably solid thinking book that's ever been written. And that's free. Well, I'll show you how you can get that free. Then the lab visits, and then the class activity reaction papers, roughly about 45 points, and then the final paper. We don't have any tests in here. I don't like tests. I never like tests. As a student or as a professor, I never like tests. So we don't have them. If you want me to take some tests for you, I'll throw something together. But there's how the grades shake out. I go on a straight percentage. I don't even know how to do the curve thing that some people do. My brain is not smart enough to figure out how to do that. So it's just straight percentage, and I have had many semesters where nearly everyone got an A in the class. It's not a hard class to get an A in if you just show up and kind of go with the river that we're running down. If you don't do those things, strangely, I have more people who do really awful in this class than any other class. And I mean awful in the grade sense. Many people take this class, and I'll kind of explain that now. Many people take this class for sheer enjoyment, for nothing more than, I know that sounds weird to take a class that you didn't like, but this is one of those where you'll stop caring about the grade and you'll start going, it's really interesting and I love learning about this. Many of you will have that. Some of you go, I don't think it's required for anybody, but many of you go, whatever, that's nice. Another one, climb up the ladder. But I can't tell you how many people I've had in this class who don't even sign up for it. They just come and show up. Nobody in this semester has done that, but I've had several people who have taken this class 3 times. We have 2 people I remember who took this class and the stress management class 3 times. And they got A's every time. It was just the experience that they were having of feeling a lot better by virtue of the tools that we'll play with that they so enjoyed, that they just kept coming back for more. And this class kind of evolves. The stress management class is kind of, we've got a pretty good idea of what we want to do in there. This one, sometimes don't know what I'm doing the next week. Just because depending upon how you guys are and the feel and the things that I'm learning, we mix it up. And so this class that we'll do this semester will be different than this class was a year ago. And I'm okay with that. All right. Any questions about grades at all?
If you have a scheduled vacation, I guess you could call it, and you know that you're going to miss a class, do you have another time? Like, do you do this class, this is just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, this is the block?
No, I don't. But interestingly, I was going to mention this in a little while, but we are going to be videotaping this class and sticking it on a web page for some other reasons, but it can be made available if you do happen to be going somewhere. Because I know life happens. Far more important than school, that you're doing stuff, and so I'm going to be making that available where you can just, like, if you miss it, if you're gone a couple days. Like, are any athletes in here? We have a few who are athletes who, you can't help it, you have to go, right?
Do you have a lot of the activities on Fridays?
I don't know. Well, and I have had a lot of athletes in here, and they've still done just fine. But with the video part that we're going to include in here, it will be available, so you can, at the very least, watch the event, and if there were assignments that came from it, you could see it and get to learn from it. So you'll be all right, I think. All right. Any other questions? Okay, let me go through these ground rules. I have found in the 15 years or so that I've been teaching in higher ed that if we all agree to do a few things, then the class is a better one. When I read this, it'll sound like, man, you're anal and tyrant. I'm not. I just like to set some ground rules so that we can kind of all okay, I'm good with that, and then if things get weird, we can roll with it, but I'd like you to keep these things in mind if you wouldn't mind. First of all, the first ground rule It says, please turn off and leave in your bag your cell phone, your laptop, and any other electronic device while you're in the classroom. The exception to that would be if you want to record it, right? In the past, people have recorded this class, and as long as they just keep it for their own personal use, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want laptops, because I know what goes on with laptops. I'm pretty skilled with laptops myself, and I know when I'm the least bit bored, I know where I go. And so if you need to call somebody on the phone for some reason, or if you're waiting for a really important call, go outside. I don't care, it won't hurt my feelings in the least. But I don't want you texting, and I don't want you, you know, unless someone you know who you have to be at having their baby right now, and you're just waiting for the go, then just put those away. I know we're all addicted to those. It's an opportunity for us to lose one more addiction. Starting and dismissing class, you'll notice I underlined that, bolded that, and italicized it. Please come to class on time. If you know you'll always be here late for this class, please take it a different semester when you're able to arrive on time. We'll dismiss class when we're through. Please refrain from packing up before we're officially through. If you absolutely must leave during class, please leave in a way that doesn't disrupt the flow of class. And that's just pretty, be respectful. We'll be starting right on time, or as close as possible to that. I prefer we not be marching in at times other than the start time, because I only have so much I want to do here. I was looking through my, I taught this class in the summertime, and I was looking through all of my notes, and it's really funny, I have a folder, like, you know, those manila folders that contain all of my notes, and I have a full folder that was from previous classes that I don't use anymore, and there were about 10 days of notes of class activities that I didn't use the last summer, and I went through them. It's that, that. So it's really evolving, but I have so much that we could play with. I want to get it to you as much as possible, so we're going to optimize the time, hopefully. Next one, food in the class. If you must bring food into the class, make sure you bring enough food to share with everyone, including me. So if you bring in a hamburger and fries, you better have one for all of us. If you have your drinks and water and drink the other stuff, that's between you and your liver, but that's okay. I don't mind the water and the drinks, but please, I don't want the smell of your fries wafting through the room and we're all salivating, wishing we had some. And I don't want getting the wrapper going. I'm not anal. I know it's, man. Just don't want people eating when I'm wishing I could be eating too. Does that make sense? Classroom chatter. If you need to carry on an extended conversation with someone else in the room on an unrelated topic, please be courteous and leave the room to do so. And I don't care if you do. But if you got to chatter, you know, just jabber back and forth about nothing that's we're doing, don't leave it in here. Those are kind of a little more light. These next 2 or 3 are more important. It says free expression. A classical liberal arts education should include the free exchange of ideas. Accordingly, I do not subscribe to any form of political correctness. Feel free to express any idea that corresponds to the course subject matter. I may disagree with you, but this will not affect your grade. As with any other right, there's a corresponding responsibility when exercising the right to free expression. I expect you to be courteous and show respect to your fellow classmates. If you disagree with someone, or me, then express your opinion, but do not under any circumstances resort to personal attacks. Now, in addition to that, one of the things that will happen in this class, and it's kind of unique to this class, is how do I say this? You guys will know each other in this class probably better than you've ever known another group of people who aren't in your major before. Just the nature of this class is you get to know stuff about people that, wow, and you realize you had a rough childhood, or you had this problem, or you had that problem, and so did I, and you kind of, we all realize we had a rough time, whether it's growing up or in a relationship, like in this relationship or that instance, and you start to develop rapport with each other. Now, one of the things that will happen is people in here, and I guarantee this will happen, people in here will say things and you'll kind of to yourself, what I do not want you to do, and this is more important, these others are kind of light, but this, I do not want you to go out of this classroom and tell other people, did you hear what Nancy, Nancy in my class, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Ashley told us about this. Can you believe that? She had that problem? What happens in mind-body wellness stays in mind-body wellness when it comes to personalizing things. Now you might say, one of the students in this class of mine had this experience, but I never want you to say Ashley had that experience, because it takes away from it. If Ashley finds out, somehow her friends and your friends happen to be talking, that happened to you. We don't want that. We don't want that possibility to happen. Personal things will arise in here, and I want it to be a safe place where we're okay with that, and that we feel comfortable, and I'm not going to force it ever. It'll just, as a matter of the process, just happen. And don't start thinking to yourself right now, oh, man, I don't want to be in here if I'm going to be telling my darkest secrets. That's not the case either. But a lot of mind-body wellness has to do with the emotions. And the emotions are tied to our history. They're tied to our thoughts. They're tied to our past. They're tied to the scars that are sitting inside of us, spiritually, emotionally. And you'll get to kind of look at those from time to time. And just keep it all in here and respect other people's wow moments. Respect other people's. It's quite interesting how after teaching this class for as long as I have realized that everybody's messed up. We all are. And I'm as messed up as everybody. And once you're okay with that, that you're not perfect, and neither is anybody else, you start to be a little more accepting of, wow, that's what you went through. And that was, you develop a camaraderie with each other. It's really interesting how it happens. Safety information, and this is equally as important. It says, are there any questions on that other one? It says, as with any physiological or psychological training tool that can effectively help you improve your health, you may find that you need less medication. If you are taking medications for stress, anxiety, pain, high blood pressure, diabetes, and I put sleep medication as well, or other stress-related disorders, that's a bad sentence. Oh, wait. Okay. You may find you need less medication, comma, if you're taking blah, blah. It would be wise to discuss any changes in your needs with your prescribing doctor. One of the things that we find happening in here is through the tools that you will learn, you will find yourself healing of things that maybe for a long time you haven't had any movement on. Some of you might be seeing counselors, some of you might be seeing family physicians for whatever thing that's going on for you. And as you start doing the things that we're doing in here, you realize, man, I'm falling asleep like that. Or I don't feel nearly as depressed as I used to. Maybe and so my plea with you, as you stay close to your own mind body and listen for the changes that you're making, that you don't just, all right, Dr. Ashley, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore, I'm fixed. No, you go to her and you say, look, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I'm experiencing, maybe we ought to adjust my dosage a little. What do you think? I'm not anti-doctor. And I think the body, for 30 years I've been studying this stuff, and I'm certain the body, mind has the ability to heal itself if given the right circumstances. I'm absolutely convinced of that. And I've seen it over and over and over again. We're just hypnotized to believe that when something goes wrong, I must need a pill or I must need some kind of advice from my doctor. When the reality is, at least my reality says, we can do a tremendous amount to help ourselves out, to make ourselves better. And we'll kind of explain what that means, what better means on Wednesday. But stay close to your primary counselor, therapist, doctor, whatever. And if you have that going on, because change will happen just by virtue of the tools. You go and lift weights, your muscles aren't going to get smaller. You lift weights, you start looking like that guy. Right? You can't help it. It's just going to get, well, that's what happens when we do the things we do in here, is you start doing them and you start realizing, man, I haven't felt this good in I don't know how long. Because they work. They work powerfully. So, questions or thoughts about that? Just stay at. I'm not anti-doctor.
This isn't a question about that, it's just a question in general. Do you have a calendar for what we're supposed to be reading or reciting, or you're just gonna kind of go as we go along?
Unfortunately, and if this is difficult for people who love to be in control,
That's me.
here's your opportunity to release your need to be in control. Because I really don't know, and I know
Okay.
that's uncomfortable for some people who, I gotta know what we're doing next, and I gotta know what we're doing 2 weeks from now. If I knew exactly, I would put it in a calendar. But
Okay.
the thing is, every semester it's a little different. And I've tried putting this calendar and I never stick to it. Because I get to one thing and I think, this is not the direction we're supposed to go in this semester. And so I turn left instead of right, and then people get all ticked off, well, that's not on the calendar. No, I'm sorry. So I just don't do those anymore.
Okay.
So, just kind of let go of that gotta know thing. Academic misconduct. Cheating of any kind won't be tolerated. Evidence of not doing your own work will result in automatic 0. So this just says don't cheat. The thing about in this class is there's not a lot of things you can really cheat on. I mean, you're going to be talking about your own feelings, your own thoughts about stuff. We do a little bit of, I mean, there is learning that happens, but because you'll be exposed to things in here. There are things that we'll do that I guarantee, I mentioned this in the stress class, but even more so in this class, there's things we'll do in here that are so weird and so, people did that. I will not do anything that goes against any of your values, I promise, and we will not do anything that, where you will be embarrassed in the least. But the thing that I'm sure of after studying this stuff for the 30 years or so that I have is we don't know squat. We don't know. We think we're so smart about what we know. We don't. And so with that attitude that I have anyway, I'm always learning and trying new things. And I keep coming upon interesting stuff that people are doing around the world. And it's like, when I tell you about it, you go, oh, that's the weirdest thing ever. And then you try it and go, man, I feel better. It's really weird. But you don't have to worry about, your own moral and your own values. Those will stay in place and probably be stronger. Whatever that is for you. We don't play, when we say mind, body, spirit, spirituality, that has nothing to do with religion at all. Although you might find yourself being more focused in your own religion as a result, but I will never promote any particular religion or philosophy over any others. So you don't have to worry about that. And my thinking is, the more open our mind is to what people are doing in wellness, the better off we are. And some people are doing some awfully weird stuff. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm being, if you could see what I've been learning lately is, what are you thinking? But it makes a difference. And that's the thing that I care about, is does it work to make a person do and be better? That's what I'm about, and I'll kind of go over that. So just stay open. Don't immediately, because it doesn't make any sense to you, go, that can't work, that can't work. I love the quote by Einstein, who said, "The height of stupidity is most clearly demonstrated by the person who ridicules something he knows nothing about." Think about that for a second. That's such a brilliant phrase. The idea in here is stay open, watch what happens. You'll have a lot of things to chew on. Some of it you'll swallow, some of it you'll spit out. And I'm not going to force any of it down, but you'll be surprised at the interesting things that come out of this class. Okay, any questions on this syllabus? Okay, so what I'd like to do for just 1 minute, normally I would go around and have everyone kind of tell about themselves just for a minute, but we obviously don't have time. But I'd like to just kind of, by raise of hand, get a feel for you guys, the demographics of this group. So if any of these things apply to you, just kind of, yeah, I'm in that group, raise your hand. So, first of all, how many in here are freshmen? Nobody. I love that. Sophomores. I love it even more. Wow. So 3, you guys are, you kind of went.
I am.
For sure. Okay, so juniors, how many juniors? In between, so seniors, how many are for sure seniors? Last, this is, you're about ready to, wow, that's a good, I love having. So how many in here right now, today, are married? So, divorced? It's not too personal. 1? Are you remarried? Is anyone else divorced and remarried? Let's go, a couple of you. Engaged? Are you still? Are you? Did you get a date?
October 20th.
ooh, it's gonna be a fun semester. You're gonna need what we do in here. Are the rest of you, is it this semester when you're married, when you're getting married? No, you're later? Who was the other one that I saw?
I'm when the semester ends.
Oh,
December
so-
17th,
Smart.
I think I might be 2 years out.
Really? Oh, good for you. 2 years to be.
Well, it's been.
She has a
And
reason,
I,
so at least.
wait, I'm older, so it's not like it's
What does older mean?
late, well, I'll be late 30s in
So-
October.
Wow, you look young. Yeah, you do look young.
So,
I'm mid-30s.
nice job. Okay, how many in here are in health promotion and are taking this mostly for a required class, or in that kind of, it's kind of one of those professional groups? How many in human performance? Do you have anyone here? You three raised your hand twice.
Well, I didn't know if you were gonna say it, you said required, so.
It's required for human performance?
Is it minor for nutrition maybe, because I'm minor in nutrition? No?
So, anyone else in this building, any program in this building? Athletic training, physical education, nutrition, minor? You're still in that group? Anyone in education? Psychology, we have any psychology folks in here? That's usually, they're the ones who love this class the most, curiously, the ones who are in psychology. It's the mind stuff, and they come over and go, how, they never taught us this stuff in our clinical psychology class. What else? Communication? What other things are people studying in here?
Well, I'm in integrated studies.
Oh, you are, so
So
it's
it's
one
just
of,
one of them.
what are your,
The other one's communication and sociology.
along with health promotion? Okay. What else? What are you studying? Smart.
I missed that one. What was that?
He's in physics.
Oh,
Great. Now I have to act smart. It's always the physics guy who really thinks smart. Wait a second, because we talk about quantum physics a little bit later on. Thanks. What are you studying? Oh, you are, really? So is she. Let me just tell you a quick word about Susan Parker is going to be videotaping all of these classes. What I would hope that you would do is just consider what the camera as wallpaper. You don't really notice it's there. And please don't let it alter how you interact with the class. I have several purposes for doing the videotaping, and Susan has been altogether way too kind to help me out with this. She's kind of a graduate assistant that she could probably teach this class too. She's going to be a life coach as well, so that'll be an interesting conversation that you guys have. But yeah, we will be videotaping this, and it will show up on websites, YouTube, I guess, initially. But it's not one of those that I'm going to try to. People don't watch these kind of videos. They don't care about some professor's class on YouTube. So don't treat it like, oh, I gotta act differently because I'm gonna be online. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more question, demographics, and I hope you don't take this offensively. Remember, okay, first of all, how many of you took the stress management class? How many took the online version of it? How many took Susan Hadley's class? You were in Susan's. How many took Chris's class? So, both terrific professors. This will be building on that class a lot. It's not designed to be the same thing by any stretch. And some of the things that we'll do in here might feel or sound like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar. Repetitions of others ago, it's okay to go over something. So we'll start on Wednesday, diving right in. I suggest you bring some things to take notes with. It's kind of foundational these first couple weeks, what we'll be doing. But really super important because what we do the rest of the semester will depend on an understanding of these first couple weeks. It's great to meet you guys, some for the first time, others again. Hopefully this will be a blast. It's my intention for this to be a blast. See you tomorrow. Great.